Hello, kids. Welcome into Plus One, a rock and roll podcast. We are back after it seems like we haven't done one in a while.
No, summertime, both been busy,
Yes, you've been very busy.
I have, which is good, but it just realizes that there's only so many taps you can run into your bathtub before the damn thing overflows.
True.
So that's
So,
where. And we'll be happy to report on that as we go along.
Yes, we have lots to get to, and for us, it will be content for multiple episodes.
Yes, it will.
Yes. So we were speaking the other day, and 2 days ago, I happened to mention to you that it is the 42nd anniversary of the first concert I ever went to, which got us thinking.
Got us thinking, yeah.
Everybody's got a first concert.
Yep.
And so I don't know about you, but I have quite the story about mine.
And I do too. Well, not about yours, what about mine?
So not only we're going to tell you our stories about our first concert, but we want to hear about yours.
Yep.
Comment in the section and subscribe and like and do all that kind of stuff. We'd appreciate it a lot.
Yes, we would. We'd like to reach many more of you.
Yes. We think we have something.
Damn it, we're entertaining, Jack. That's why.
Yes, absolutely. All your friends want to subject them to all of this.
That's right. You want it embedded in your brain.
Right. All right. So my first concert, since I mentioned that my first concert was in July 2nd, 1982. I actually have show and tell. So this was my first concert. It was at the Rose Bowl. I can't see.
Wow.
There you go. It was Journey at the Rose Bowl.
Kill it.
There's the am I going the right direction?
Yeah.
There we go. So Blue Oyster Cult, Triumph, Aldo Nova, all at the Rose Bowl. I believe tickets were $15.
Oh man, that wouldn't buy a beer now.
Not even wouldn't even get you half a parking spot.
No, it wouldn't. Wow.
So Journey's coming to town. My parents know that I'm obsessed with the band, right. And my dad bought the tickets.
Now, where were you living at the time?
I was in Huntington Beach.
Okay, so that's not a close drive. Huntington Beach to Rose Bowl.
Not a close drive, and I was 16.
So were you driving?
So no. So my dad my dad bought tickets for me,
right?
2 of his employees and one of their girlfriends.
Wow.
He bought 4 tickets, gave them the day off to take me to the Journey show because there was no way he was going.
Right. Wow. So you had 3 chaperones.
Wait.
Well, to start with.
Right. So we drive to the Rose Bowl, and which we were talking about. People don't realize how big that place is.
It's huge. I mean, everyone looks at it on New Year's Day and like, oh, look, it's a football stadium. No, it's like a small city.
Yes. There's a lot of people that live in Pasadena, and that doubles when the Rose Bowl, when something's happening at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Yep. That's on my bucket list to go to a Tournament of Roses parade and the Rose Bowl.
Nice, very nice. I've been to the parade. I was actually not sanctioned, but I was in the parade. We drove the KNEC van down Colorado Boulevard, and nobody knew that we were doing it. Oh, you've stopped.
And it just froze.
There we go. And there we go. Now we're back.
There you go. Okay, so it was not sanctioned. What? I missed this whole part after that.
Okay, so we just took the KNEC van as a publicity stunt and drove it because people line up there overnight.
Oh yeah.
So we drove down and threw out, KNEC koozie cups and whatever.
Whatever.
On Colorado Boulevard. We did it. I think we did it like at like 2 in the morning.
So there are plenty of people who are awake and having just a great time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. including the other people in the car that had like blue and red lights that were following us.
Oh yeah.
So we got onto the 210 freeway real fast. Anyway, when you go to the Rose Bowl, as some of you may know, I'm a big golfer. So the parking at the Rose Bowl is on a golf course.
That's right.
Not in the parking lot of the golf course, on the golf course, which was sacrilegious to me. But
yeah, it is.
We parked like right next to a green. I don't know what green. I want to play that golf course just because I've parked there. So I've never played that golf course.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, we get into the show, and we're sitting. The stage is in like at one end zone.
Yes.
And we found a spot on the floor in the other end zone.
Wow.
So the two guys that were my dad's employees.
Sure.
Raymond and I want to say the other guy's name was John. Anyway, they busted out the biggest joint I've ever seen.
I knew it was going somewhere near here.
Oh yeah. There and then not too. I don't remember being too long of a wait. And then Aldo Nova came on.
Okay.
And now this is my first concert. So when the bass drum kicked in, I thought my heart was coming out of my chest.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's from 100 yards away outside.
Yep. Boom. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh
yeah. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So Raymond and his girlfriend left to go get a beer.
Okay.
I think they made it back at the end of Triumph's set, which was next. They were the next band on. So I don't know if they were actually got a beer. The lines were. I mean, the lines could have been that long. I don't know. So, and I have spoken to Aldo Nova since then, and Aldo Nova says what people don't realize is the second song in, he got hit in the knee with a grapefruit.
Wow.
But somehow somebody got in a grapefruit and had the aim enough to hit him in the knee, and he hyperextended his knee. Right? So
rock and roll.
You gotta love it. So then Triumph came on, and Triumph was amazing. It was Allied Forces tour. They were
what I saw.
And I've spoken to Rick Emmett about this show, and he says, dude, that was the weirdest show I've ever played because it was great. The crowd was great. And all of a sudden we come off stage, and backstage I go, oh, there's Angie Dickinson. Oh, there's Tom Selleck. Oh, there's
wow.
All these people are there to see Journey.
Sure, yeah.
Right. So he was like, that was crazy. So then it's between Triumph and Blue Oyster Cult, the world's largest food fight broke out in the stands.
Wow.
It was nuts. It was like looking up and seeing that scene in Empire Strikes Back when they're in the asteroids and all the asteroids are flying by. That's what it looked like from the floor. So then it's Blue Oyster Cult. They come on, and they're good. And then they did Roadhouse Blues, and Robbie Krieger came out.
Oh, interesting.
And that was
guest spot.
Yeah, that was their last song, and the crowd was so loud for that. I mean, they were just going apeshit for it.
Wow.
And me as a big Journey fan, I'm like, oh my God, Journey's never going to be able to get that kind of noise. This is the loudest noise I've ever heard.
Right. Yeah. Oh, wait a second, kids.
Yes. Then Journey comes out, and so by this time, all four of the stoners are back, and we're still in the end zone because I didn't move. I mean, I'm just like, I'm here to see the show.
Yeah.
So
right.
so they're like, all right, we're gonna move forward once Journey goes on. So Journey comes on, and I believe it was the third song of the set. I was like fifth row. We just did the whole all the way up to the front.
Yep, the Serpentine. Yep.
We did the Serpentine. The crowd was 10 times as loud as they were for Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, yeah.
The entire time Journey was on. And it was the very first time they ever played Separate Ways live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you a Journey question then. What time do they go on?
They went on
Ish.
I'm gonna say they went on just after sunset. Because I remember the light show was perfect for them. And then I am not a fireworks person. You know, I've seen fireworks. You know, I don't need to see it again. You know, I don't get the whole thing about it. But after the show, the best fireworks show was at the Rose Bowl. I mean, obviously I was, you know, very, very energized from the
Sure.
show and all that. But yeah, it was a really good fireworks show afterwards. But yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, life changing.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my dad paid for the tickets and had no idea who he was sending me to Pasadena with. But
So I get home.
we got home. When leaving, we actually got a quick way out because people that were, you know, been blocking our way. There had to have been half a dozen to 10 cars that had gone into sand traps, like gone into the bunker and were stuck in the bunker.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You don't want to explain that one to your buddy.
No.
So what happened? Why were you so late getting home? Well, we were at the Rose Bowl. We drove into a bunker.
Yeah, exactly.
Leaving.
Yeah. All right. You're grounded.
Yeah.
They're not believing that story.
Right. Exactly. That's where your dad should have come in and just rented out his chaperone service.
Right. Exactly. Because they were good. They got us right home. But yeah, that was the first concert, and you know, it was it's totally memorable. I can remember it from July 2nd, 1982. Ta-da.
Lost audio again.
Oh, I'm just saying it was very memorable. For all the way from July 2nd, 1982. I remember almost everything about that show.
Yeah, it's funny because Blue Oyster Cult's kind of ignored now, except for, you know, a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah.
But they were a huge concert show. If you're second to Journey on the bill, and that was like a year earlier, they'd gone out with Sabbath.
Yeah.
So they were huge, big on the road, not so much on the radio or the hits. I mean, everyone will go Godzilla and Don't Fear the Reaper, and that's what most people remember. They might remember Dancing in the Ruins. They might remember what's the other one? Home in the City. Home in the Burning for You. Yeah.
Yeah, that was after Burning for You came out.
Oh yeah, way after. Yeah.
Because that was MTV time.
Yep. So yeah, Blue Oyster Cult, people don't realize how big that band was on the road.
Yeah.
Huge.
For sure.
Arenas by themselves.
Yep.
They probably couldn't play the House of Blues now. Which is too bad because I think they're all still alive and they're all still quite capable.
Yeah. That'd be kind of a cool tour for them, the House of Blue Oyster Cult.
Well, I think they have their catchphrase. Well done, sir.
Let's go ahead and book that tour, shall we?
All right. I like the idea.
Yes.
All right. So my turn, I guess.
Yeah.
My first concert was a little earlier than yours, July 2nd. Mine was in mid-May. I was waiting to go to graduation. I had that, you had a kind of end of school graduation, just blank spot in your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And we had tickets for Rush at the Philadelphia Spectrum in the days when you bought your tickets about 6-8 weeks ahead of time. So you had the one guy who had his mom had a credit card or whatever, and she paid it. Everyone, paid him back or whatever. Tickets were like $6.
Yeah.
And I'd never been to Philadelphia, so I was never mind a show. I'd been to the circus at Madison Square Garden, and I'd been to football and baseball and basketball games. But as you know, it's a little different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And our buddy Phil Corwin was the one who got the tickets for us, and he was going to be taking photos of the show later. So for get a little extra income, and which I bought 2 of his photos. So he did well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was such a Rush nerd at the time, and only recently have kind of rediscovered them. But I couldn't believe all these. First of all, there wasn't a girl in sight, and if there was, it was an accident that she wandered on to the grounds.
Right.
So I just remember going in through the parking lot, walking in, and this is all brand new to me. I've never been around people like me at a show. I had kind of shoulder length hair. I was probably wearing some sort of concert shirt that I bought at Spencer's Gifts. Because I hadn't been to a concert yet, and I found out later that the rule was you buy a shirt at the show and you wear it to class the next day.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I remember the first the first T-shirts I saw was like a triptych, like you had, let's say, Neil, Getty, and Alex, and 2 giant pot leaves, like separated. So you're like Alex, pot leaf, Neil, pot leaf, Getty. Like I'm just going, because I couldn't smoke pot. It would give me panic attacks, which of course is like anything else. You don't find out how until you do it.
Right.
It's like, wow, tequila makes me jump up and down and stuff a doorbell in my nose. Well, I didn't know that until I drank a ton of tequila.
Right. Well, that's the same thing on all these commercials for medication. And one of the things they always say, don't take Sotyktu if you're allergic to it. Well, how the fuck do you know?
Exactly. Graham was a little kid, and he saw one of those commercials that might cause this, these horrible side effects. Graham goes, why would you even take one of those?
Right.
Like, well, leave it to you, the 7-year-old, to figure that one out.
Right.
So we go in and we got our seats, and I remember we were on Alex Lyson's side about, I don't know, let's say halfway back up on what do they call it, the loge, the one that's tilted. And I remember just thinking, wow, I'm here. I'm finally going to see a rock show, because it was at this point where I figured I wanted to be a musician, but there's no roadmap for this thing. This isn't you go to school and you figure it out, and then you go to Princeton and you get a degree in, rock band.
Right.
No. So I'm just looking at all these other dudes and just going, wow, a lot of these guys look like me and I look like them. This is kind of cool. And I find out later, like about a year ago, Johnny D, who is now with Doro, but he's also with Brittany Fox and a billion other people. He was also at the same show.
Oh, okay.
Which, of course, I didn't know. But, of course, Johnny being, from Philly, he's like, hey, why did you call me, bro? I'm like, dude, you're killing me. So, anyway, but that is so Johnny.
For another 10 years.
Right. But that's him. He knows, he caught the irony of the situation. But he, and the master of sarcasm. But he's from Philly. Who knew?
Right.
But he, so I remember the opening band was called FM.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were also a Canadian power trio.
Right.
Which I was like, oh, wow. And the bass player, well, the kind of guitar player, I guess he played an electric mandolin. And it was a Fender. I'm just going, wow, how weird can this day get?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know you could get one of those things, much less play it in a rock band.
Yeah.
How do you electrify a mandolin? I associate that with like hee-haw.
Right.
So we sit through them and like, okay, polite applause. Nobody booed. It was everyone was cool. And I remember going, okay, now comes Rush. But when, again, I have no concept of the changeover. As far as I know, it's like a TV show. Wham, they're on next. Right. I don't know. I have no idea they've got to change stuff for for the cameras, for the video, for the screens, and and then of course the drum tech when he sits down and they go pop pop pop, and I'm thinking, oh, they're starting. Oh no, they're not. Yeah. Just such a rube.
Yeah.
And I get in there, and or sorry, Rush finally comes on, and they start with Temples of Syrinx.
Mhm.
So you get that unmistakable synth sound, that whirl and that wash,
Right.
and it does it a couple times, and now I'm thinking I'm actually here, and this is years later. I'm thinking about it now. That's when I knew I was hooked, because it was literally like a magical moment. Like, here they come, boom, bam, bam, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, wow, I'm in the same room as these three guys. This
Right.
is not in my bedroom listening on the headphones trying to figure out the song on the guitar. I'm here. The guys who wrote it and played it are here.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, holy crap. Now, this is the Moving Pictures tour.
Yeah.
So they're about to break. They're big. I mean, if you're playing the Philly Spectrum, you're not small.
Right.
Your headline, and it was sold out.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that many rock heads in one place. Um, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, you know, the kind of that mental, I don't know, would it be discovery of the fact that you realize the people who were making this music are right in front of you.
Right.
It's not a recording of them doing it. It's not a capture of them in time. It's like, I remember I saw Herb Alpert with my dad about 2 years ago here in Charleston, and I love Herb Alpert. So I'm sitting there just loving this. And my dad was a fan, because he was a 60s guy and everyone had whipped cream and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, Herb Alpert was kind of the soundtrack of the 60s and my childhood, because he actually my dad played the records.
Right.
So afterwards, I said to my dad, "So what do you think?" He goes, "Well, that was cool. That was nice. He played some hits, and his wife was opening, and she sings all the stuff for Brazil '66. Sergio Mendes in Brazil '66. I'm just going, this is killer, you know." And I said, and it was a small enough place in Charleston where I could hear Herb coming off the stage. He didn't need the PA.
Oh wow.
Right. So I'm going, this is kind of really rad. And the guy who did it, who plays a wind instrument, brass, but it's still wind, is blowing the wind in my direction in the shape of this melody and these beats. And I'm saying to my dad, it was crazy. The guy who did it, he was right there. And he's looking at me like, what is wrong with you, son? And that's what I realized. I'm the musician in the family and I get it,
Yeah.
which is okay, because, when you don't, you can just enjoy it. So I remember watching them and just trying to guess the next song, and always being wrong, because I wasn't aware of the idea of I knew you had to have strong opener, but I was like, okay, they're promoting a new album, I guess. So what are they going to play?
Right.
So it was scholastic for me. I sat there thinking, okay, well, if they got a new record out, they're going to play X, Y, and Z, except for Y, and Z, off this record. And how are they going to do the stuff they did in the studio live? Because that was a big thing with them. They always had one song they said they didn't plan on doing live, which on that record was Witch Hunt.
Right.
Which I loved. Great song.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. And I think they have done it since, but technology probably allowed that. But I remember thinking to myself, I'm learning more here in this one night than I have in the last 2 years at my fancy schmancy boarding school.
Yeah.
Because I was going to a highfalutin boarding school. We had moved to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and they didn't have any schools for Americans, Westerners, I should say, past the 8th grade. So I had to go to this school called the Lawrenceville School, and I just remember thinking to myself, this is what I got to be learning. This is you talk about. It feels like someone, like if you're a tuning fork and someone just went doom right in the middle of your head. You're just vibrating at the proper frequency. Like, this is who I am. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And you're watching and you're hearing it. And then again, just watching for these spots, like there's a guitar solo in Free Will where Alex Lifeson is cutting back and forth between the rhythm and the lead back, and then they go ba-da, and back into it before the last chorus. And the whole place went batshit after his guitar solo, which was really cool. And I'm just, again, looking around going, wow, these guys they're communicating with the people in the audience, and they're making a chorus look like nothing.
Right.
But again, I'm not thinking of the fact, well, they've been touring like hell for the past 5 or 6 years. Right. They got hundreds of shows under the belt. Again, all these things are going through my head as I'm trying to watch it. And, my buddy's just trying to enjoy it. He's just here to see Rush with me.
Right.
And I'm going, shut up! I want to hear one. I want to hear this one. And he's just, dude, Passage to Bangkok was awesome that they snuck that one in there. And I'm like, well, yeah, because it smells like the Passage to Bangkok in here. Passage to Bangkok.
All right.
Good God. So wait, that might have been a little suggestive, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So, and on that one, I think it was Getty also put on a double neck.
Oh, yeah.
So he's playing bass pedals and playing electric 12-string guitar, and then plays electric 6-string, I think, during Alex's solo. And my mind is going, boom, you can do this.
Right.
And Geddy Lee now to this day, who is just such a monster on everything that he does. And I'm watching him just blaze through this. And for me, I remember walking out of there thinking that was about the best musicianship I've been around and I want to be around. And at that point, like I said, I was really into Rush. Unknowing that 6 weeks later, I would see Van Halen on the Fair Warning Tour. Right about now, it was like the 3rd or the 5th of July or something like this. And that changed everything.
Right. Yeah.
But to that point, well, just a quick point, but Rush was just so many firsts. As far as like a listener, but also as a budding musician, as a guy who's going to try and make this his living, make it his, you express who you are.
Yeah.
That was the first time I sat there, and this all sounds like Neil Peart. This sounds like Neil Peart lyrics, but it does. It literally, you are the cell of awareness, and boom, open it. It just goes crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're there with someone who's just there to enjoy it, they're looking at you like, you want to just shut up? Because all the way home, I'm just yammering on and on. Did you notice this? You notice this? And they're like, no. So like, did they play the trees? Yeah. Okay. That's all they want to know. I'm like, how do you not remember? Right. That's when they brought the acoustic guitar and it was on a stand and then a thing and then they played it. And then to them, it wasn't the formative experience it was for me. And maybe they'd gone to other concerts. I don't know. I don't recall.
Yeah.
Phil probably did because he had taken pictures at other shows.
Right.
But all the way from Philly back to Lawrenceville, which is just outside of Trenton, which is, I think, about 45 minutes. I remember just thinking to myself, that was amazing. And I didn't have enough money for a shirt. So I didn't get to be the cool guy the next day and wear it back to,
right.
in the preppy school.
Right. There was always that guy that you knew that was going to a show that you weren't going to. And you go, I'll give you $10. Get me a shirt.
Totally.
You'd wear it that next day.
I will still do that. I've done that with Dragon Force. I've done that with Chris Isaac. It's like, hey, you're going to show? Cool. Here. And now it's even easier, Ken. I'll just Venmo you the money. Bam.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
If you're like, dude, you went to Charlotte last night and you saw Dragon Force? No, I just got the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, poser.
Poser.
Whatever, dude. So, but yeah, so that was big, huge arena show. Then the next show was Iron Maiden for $5 at Summerfest.
Nice.
Yep. Nice. So that was number 2, and then Van Halen was number 3. But yeah, Rush, absolutely. It was so fun because as I've been getting back into Rush, and I kind of stop around Signals, you listen to them so differently now.
Yeah.
And you think they pulled this shit off live.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
Just flawless. And I was at least good enough as a musician to realize when they were playing well or not. Because, as you see down the road, like Iron Maiden made a huge mistake. I have it actually. It was broadcast on WLBQ in Milwaukee. And they made a huge mistake in Iron Maiden, a huge arrangement mistake, and they fucked it up. But they got out of it, but they fucked it up big time.
Right.
So I knew I could at least pick it up. And Rush, nope. All the hot spots they hit all night. Perfect. Incredible.
I think it's kind of interesting that that your first 2 bands that you saw live were Canadian power trios.
Yeah. And
in my first show, there was also a Canadian power trio.
That's right. There was.
So that's right. I don't know, just kind of struck me as weird.
How about this one? We just played Cold Sweat just played M3 and Aldo Nova was on the bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah. So there you go. So you went to the second concert, So my second card. So my first one is at the Rose Bowl, which is I'm gonna
That's
say
pretty
it's
top.
probably the biggest place I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen shows at the LA Coliseum, but I don't know that the LA Coliseum it may have more seats, but I don't think it's bigger than the Rose Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
But so my second one was also in Pasadena, but it was at Perkins Palace,
Oh wow.
and it was
Legendary.
Riot, right as Metal Health hit.
Yeah.
But the opening band was out in the line passing out stickers for their band.
Okay.
And I think I still have the sticker that the owner of the record label that Cold Sweat is on. It's Ron Keel.
You got to find
that with Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, I got to show Ryan that. You got to, because they're filming some stuff for a Steeler documentary.
Oh, nice.
So he'd probably get a huge kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's funny, man. Like you said, you don't realize where things are going to be 30 years later.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
The hard workers always tend to pop up.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. And my third show was Rush. So we're kind of
wow. Where was that one?
That was at the Forum.
Okay. Gotcha.
That was the Signals tour.
Okay. Yeah. After Philly, I was back we had moved to Wisconsin, and all my shows were Milwaukee Arena, Milwaukee Auditorium. Van Halen was in Madison. A lot of shows in Madison, Chicago. You know, so that, which is, you know, as I learned later, that's just one of the best places to play in the U.S. is that whole kind of little Midwest corridor. Yeah. That in Texas.
Yeah, they love their rock.
Yep, and it has not stopped.
No, not at all.
So, you know, I remember looking at since you can to go back and look at Rush tour dates, and you just go, God, they always hit Detroit, you always hit Chicago, you always hit Milwaukee, you always hit Columbus, you always hit Philly. Their rock and roll towns are rock and roll towns. Yeah. It just stays the same. It just does. And you wonder if that's handed down or just in the water or what.
Yeah.
Because luckily, you know, as a performer, you go, well, I know we can always go there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do probably 12 dates in Texas alone.
Oh, for sure. For sure. You could print up a Texas tour shirt.
Yep. Oh, easily, yeah. Maiden used to do that. They used to have Eddie would be a part of the Alamo or you know, Cowboy Stadium where it's go. Dallas shirts are only on sale at Dallas, and you know,
right.
I just you know, as I'm seeing that, I'm going, really? Can you do that? I mean, it's that big, and then you realize, yes, it is.
It's that big, and man, you have one of those shirts. You know, 30 years later, you can pretty much send a kid through college.
No kidding, right? Oh God, there's some of those because my rule was if the shirt looked like hell, I didn't buy it.
Right.
But I would buy a program instead.
Right. Oh yeah, I have a couple programs.
Yeah. So because I understand it now. Again, you want the shirt as garish as you want it.
Right.
As you can get it, I should say. So you have someone go to Walmart, look at the shirts, and then go back and design your band shirt like that.
Yeah.
Because that's your basic customer. Someone's just going in.
Yeah.
If you try and make it cool or artsy, you know, unless you're Depeche Mode, no one gives a rat's ass.
You're right. Exactly.
So my thing was the program, and I just saw one recently. I had the Van Halen Fair Warning program because I hated the shirt. My brother loved it, but you know, and I find out later that they made all their own merch. And they went with as garish and outlandish as you could get something.
Right.
So I'm sitting there looking at the tour program with 50-year-old eyes as opposed to 18, and every page has got this pile of Coke on it. And at the time, I mean, they were just right up front about it. Wow. I'll find it. I'll find it online. I'll show you. Pile of Coke, pills, Jack Daniels bottle. Well, you get that, but
right.
I was like, God, big old razor blade. God. Well, I mean, what the hell?
But not a single brown M&M.
No. Nope. And that one, at some point I have to tell the real story on that one because that was a it's part of the Van Halen lore, and it's
Right.
true,
Mm-hmm.
but the origin was different.
Ah, yeah, we definitely have to save that one.
Yeah, we should have a show where we, it's not dispel rock roll myths, but kind of go, oh, but hey, it might have really gone like this.
Right.
But that one I heard from the horse's mouth.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. He was,
Cool.
he
All
was,
right. So we want to hear about your first concerts.
yes,
You've heard us pontificate about ours.
that's
And
right.
I'm sure you've got great stories too. So please put it in the comments. We wanna read about your first concert.
Yeah, we can revisit this too.
Yeah, for sure. And even if your first concert was, I don't know, Debbie Gibson.
Oh yeah, those are out there too. And yet, tell us who and where and when.
Yes, for sure. We want to hear about all of that.
And how old you were, yeah, because some kids I know like went and saw the Osmonds was their first show, and
right.
I was like, well, how old are you? Like 7.
Yeah.
Then was the Ohio State Fair to see him. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
It wasn't last year.
Right. It wasn't your choice to go.
Well, yeah, you got those too, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I know there was one guy I think he was in OAR. His first show was Saigon Kicking Extreme at the American Theater in Washington. And he was like, yeah, I kind of had to go. I was 12 or whatever. And I didn't know who either of the bands were, but I was just kind of glad to be going to a rock show. And, but yeah, I thought I had it great with Rush, but can you imagine seeing Kiss in there, in 78 with that incredible display? No, the biggest thing that ever come on to a rock stage was that.
Right, for sure.
So yeah, I didn't see Kiss until 85 or no, 80. Yeah, 84, 85. It was Animalize.
Yeah, I saw Lick It Up. That was the first one that I saw.
Right.
But yeah, that's that would be amazing. That would have been amazing. All right, so like, subscribe, comment, please.
Yes, let us know.
We need you to do that. We need you to do that so we can continue to do this.
Yes, exactly, because we like doing it, but we like it more when you like it.
Yeah. We do this all the time, but
exactly.
Film it. It's so
that's right.
So until next time, I'm Jack Trash.
I am Chris McLernon.
And live your life to 10 + 1.
See you at Will Call.